Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. And we're live.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Werewolf, the Apocalypse, West Rising. I am your storyteller this evening, and allow me to introduce the players to you if you have not met them yet. Let's start with Aaron this week.
Hi, I'm Erin, and everyone's video is frozen for me, so hopefully the stream can see me at least.
We can see you, yes.
I am playing Thistle, the children of Gaia Theurge.
All right, and Craig.
Hi, everybody. I'm Craig. I'm playing Grudek, the Bonar Galliard.
William.
Hi, I'm William, and I am very cold. No, I'm playing C, the Uctanophilodox.
It was also very cold in a different way.
In a different way.
And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and I'm playing Tig, the Fianna Dragabash.
And John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Shadow, and I got thrown way off by that because you were going in, like, clockwise order on the overlay, and then skipped me, and it completely threw me off.
I'm not even looking at the overlay.
Oh, I know. It was purely it was purely incidental. It just happened, and my brain went.
Sorry to break your brain there, John.
It's okay. I'm playing Shadow. He's a Ghetto Fenrisaru.
Yes. All right. So when last we left our heroes, they had been doing a lot of investigation and sniffing around at the cairn. The members of the Sept that manages the local cairn are a varied and interesting group that have a lot of tensions among themselves, and so our fellows have been sniffing that out. And also they have a guest, an 8-year-old girl, who is the younger sister of the young black spiral dancer who stole the fetish that set this whole thing off to begin with. She has now been apparently abandoned by her family, and so Silverglare, the worm foe of this sept, has sort of benevolently kidnapped her, brought her to the cairn while we figure out what we're going to do with her. So we have our little 8-year-old guest, all the sept members, and then our heroes have been trying to figure out what's going on and why someone has betrayed the sept to the black spirals. So what are we going to do next, friends? It is a late afternoon on Friday. And in the evening, we're expecting Tim back, as you may recall, and also Bridge Runner.
I believe several of us, or at least a couple of us, are waiting to talk to Tim when he gets back.
Yeah. Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, but if memory serves, Thistle was watching the young ones while Grudek took a break, or went to do other things.
Yeah, and when last we left, Thistle, Z had been showing Emma some comic books or graphic novels.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to explain the whole concept of people who do good things to help just because it's good and helpful. And Emma is
and
like,
also like probably some emphasis on I feel like the easy one is X-Men. And Thistle's not inclined to go for the deep cut in this particular instance. Because like sort of like people who look scary but are doing things to help. Or are disliked but still try to help the world. So not 90s X-Men, but X-Men.
yeah, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Who else has things on their to-do list here at the Sept while you wait, if anything?
Tag needs to go find Silverglare,
Mm-hmm.
and see if she'll accompany him Shadowside to learn his tribal gifts that he has still not had a chance to pick up yet.
And once Grudek was done with whatever he needed to do, Thistle also wanted to talk to the Caller of the Wild.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Grudek it comes back relatively quickly. I was actually thinking about that last week, and I didn't want to throw off anybody's flow, but he actually left to go with C, with the intention of talking to some of the other members, and then C got into sort of a private conversation with March Lion, and I think probably after that, Grudek just wandered back to where the kids were because he's waiting for Bridge Runner.
Okay. Okay. So we can just assume that he's been kind of hanging out with Thistle and Emma and just kind of supervising a little bit and letting her bond also with Thistle. Since she's already clearly latched on to Grudek as being a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's probably good for her to see, like, okay, here's some other people that are also on your team. Because she is not going to be bonding with Shadow anytime soon.
No, and that's completely reasonable.
Yeah, it's probably good that Shadow not bond with her too.
All right, so Tig's going to be off in the Umbra with Silverglare. Anything else the rest of you want to do before the return of Tim and Bridge Runner? Oh, Thistle, you'd like to speak with...
yeah, if she happens to be around.
Brushfire.
Which one? Brushfire, right. Caller of the Wild, Okay.
The one that doesn't like Shadow.
The titles that have similar structures, I sometimes confuse with each other. Master of the Howl, Caller of the Wild. I get those confused, and also Master
Caller of the Wild, who's the one who helped us with learning the owls.
Right, the little lupus. Shadow's sister-in-law, or whatever. Awkward. Okay, so...
it's like freaking Mennonite country up in here, man. It's everybody's related to everybody.
No, it's just Shadow's related to everybody.
Brushfire seems to have inherited her her dad's tendency to like take naps in lupus form on the cairn grounds. So she is currently kind of near the little stream. Like she's just been soothed by the sound of the water and is just kind of napping by the stream, just a little bit below the cairn center.
I still maintain that lupus form has to be by far the most comfortable way to sleep.
Absolutely. I'm envious. So Thistle, you want to approach?
He wanted to talk to her if she's in lupus form. Thistle will probably go up, see if she like March Lion tends to wake up when people come over or otherwise. Like.
Yeah, she's got that same sort of wolfish hyper awareness, and as Thistle's footsteps approach, she lifts her head and perks up her ears, and as soon as she notices that Thistle appears to be approaching with intent, she shifts to Homid form in her usual barely dressed, wiry, sort of grubby, obviously
Mm-hmm.
rolling around in the woods a lot with very little clothes on kind of look, tangled hair. And she gives Thistle a little smile. Hi.
Hey, I want to thank you again for helping, letting me yesterday. I really I like working with the spirits, and you do really cool stuff, and I like being able to help where I can.
Well, thanks. I have to work hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy for me, but it's an honor, and I'm proud. She's clearly been, having a lot of practice speaking
Yeah.
English, so she's pretty fluent.
Yeah.
Did you need more help?
I just wanted to, like, it's your thing and I don't want to pressure you at all, but if there's anything that I can or you want me to help with, I'm new, I'm learning, and I really want to do my thing, and it's an honor to help someone in your position when or if you need me.
Yeah, okay. Um, you'll always have to ask my dad first. He
Of
knows
course.
what people are allowed to help with and what they're allowed to learn. Also, Bridge Runner is a theurge like you and could teach you things.
Mhm.
None of us are theurges, she says, and it's not clear exactly what she means by us, but she just kind of says that, like,
Yeah.
none of us, like, you'd know what she meant. Bridge runners, Bridge Runner and Four Eyes are the only ones, and you.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
But they could help you too.
Yeah, and they've been really helpful.
But the spirits like you. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm sure they like you too. It's just harder for them to show it sometimes.
Well, they feel my rage.
Mm.
I'm full moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder for me to focus, and I think they feel that. But she kind of leans in. If anything ever happens to your Arun, I have a pack, but we're not really close, and I could change packs, if you want. Just, if anything ever happens to Shadow.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, cough, cough.
If his brakes should fail, or or his drink should mysteriously become poison. No, she doesn't say any of
for now, he's our Arun, but I hope that doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Oh, I'd like to have a friend. Because I'm lupus, I'm still learning about friends. It's not the same as pack, but I would like to try it.
I'm still learning about cairn and what's the appropriate word for clan?
Tribe?
The sept or tribe, or it depends on what you're referring to. Like, yeah,
sept. The group that we would be mutually a part of.
Yes,
I'm still learning about sept and that sort of thing. So
yeah, me too. It's hard, but you've only been with us a few months, right?
Yeah, I have a pack, but I don't have many friends here?
Well, we can be friends. I can try. Let me know if I don't do it right.
I don't know if there's a right way to do it, but okay.
Oh, good. Well, then I'll do it my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, then.
And
So we're friends.
we're
She
friends.
declares.
Brushfire is the cutest thing on the planet.
It's that lupus thing, just very straightforward. Gotta love it.
Mhm. Yep.
Do you use lupus form?
I've been trying. I'm not very good at I'm not angry enough to change as much as I'd like to.
Oh, well, if you want to sometime, we can go hunting. I can show you how to hunt like a wolf. If Shadow hasn't already showed you, she says with a hint of.
I'll be honest, I'm not good at being a wolf. I'm a little embarrassed to show Shadow because he's our Pax Arun, so I'm supposed to be good and fighty.
Okay. Well, I can show you sometime. We can sneak off and I'll show you the good parts of the woods that Hamids can't get to.
I need a tutorial in the basics, and I'm really embarrassed to ask my pack.
We can go anytime you want. Just let me know. I don't have many duties except at moots. I have to be the caller of the wild, but besides that, we can go whenever you want. But we have to be careful during the day because there are human tourists, and when they see wolves, they get scared. So we mostly go hunting at night.
Yeah. We're not supposed to scare the humans. We're supposed to protect them.
That's right. I didn't used to like humans because I only met the ones that were trying to hurt us. But I've learned now that some are good.
I don't like those humans either. Nope. Yeah, and this will keep up conversation if Brushfire wants to talk more, but...
Okay. And Brushfire might also just kind of like walk her through the basics of like just... Oh, sorry. Brushfire will also kind of walks her through the basics of, lupus form, like some things you might want to pay attention to as far as how her senses change.
Doesn't seem... I mean, she's lupus. She probably isn't super uncomfortable with it. Thistle will try and make the roll to get all the way to lupus.
Sure, you want to go
which for troll it? Is that, guy?
Stamina Primal Urge.
Stamina Primal Urge. And it would be difficulty 6, I believe, right, guys?
Yeah, because you're trying to shift from Hamid form.
Right, if he's shifting from Hamid form. And you can do it in stages.
Yeah, you have to get enough successes to get...
Okay.
Like, through each
4.
form.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
If you don't get enough, you can still get as far as your successes allow you, basically.
Yeah.
And then
all right, let's
see.
So you made it to Glabro.
And Brushfire is very supportive. It's like, good try. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Now your difficulty changes to 7 since you're in Glabro.
Okay. Trying to shift out of the hybrid forms is harder.
Yeah. And into them also.
Yeah. One more.
Now you're in
Krynos.
Yeah, Krynos. Back down to difficulty 6.
Out of curiosity, what does Thistle look like in Krynos form? What's their fur color and stuff?
In Krynos form, Thistle is sort of a lighter brown with lots of sort of patchy highlights.
Okay.
Outside of the umbra, obviously, there aren't any tree marks. But I feel like the fur's a little bit disheveled, like the trees were there.
Cute, yeah. Uh-huh.
Especially in Krynos form, there's an element of like you just ran through some trees.
Yeah, nice.
Zerfur is kind of like matted and tangled in some places. Like there should be branches there, but there aren't.
Yeah, or like you just ran through a few bushes and your fur's all messed up, that sort of thing.
Cute. I like it. Yeah, and it's interesting because coincidentally, and I don't know if you even knew this, but Tim, Zer father, in his Krynos and Lupus forms, his fur is also kind of shaggy, like on the longer side. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and still has those very bright green eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, and Brushfire waits patiently, and it's like, okay, good job.
So difficulty is 7 again.
6 now.
6 once you're in Krynos.
Oh, okay. 6 once I've been Krynos.
And Brushfire urges Zer not to think like a human. Turn off all those
Make
thoughts.
it straight to Lupus.
Great.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe Brushfire's
that probably should have been obvious. No, I'm a wolf.
Turn off all the thoughts, and then that's the key to it.
Yeah.
And then Brushfire. The thing is, even a Hamid, even someone who was born a human, when they shift into Lupus form, they automatically know how to do the sort of body language communication that wolves do. They don't have to actively learn it. So basically, Brushfire just kind of leads Thistle just a short way off, not like far away, but is showing Zer some of the places that only at their size can they fit through the underbrush, and showing Zer some cool areas where there's like just really pretty peaceful places to take a nap and stuff, and just basic friendly, let me show you the wolf side of things.
In full wolf form, Thistle is probably smaller than a lot of werewolves and pretty leanly built, like clearly more of a runner stamina than like
not
really
a big
strong
battle wolf,
bulky.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Z will notice right away is the way that a whole section of the color spectrum just drops off the map. In Krynos, the reds start to disappear, and then by the time Z's in Lupus form, there's no orange. It's just shading straight from yellow through blue, and that's it. So it's a very different visual experience, and probably a little disturbing to someone who's used to relying on their eyes. But also, the scents open up, and suddenly Z can get this whole picture of like the entirety of the forest almost, and where things are by scent.
Especially because he's just hanging out with Brushfire at the moment. There's a lot of like stumbling but curiosity experimenting, trying to get a sense of the form, sort of asking physical questions with that with that ability to use the Lupus dialect.
And I imagine there's that's something they could keep up straight on till evening if Z wanted.
Yeah, as long as Brushfire isn't called away or doesn't seem like, oh god, now I'm done teaching the stupid cub.
Thistle will. She actually seems like to find it pretty cool that someone's actually asking her for advice, because she's kind of low in the pecking order as well. Anybody else doing things while waiting for evening?
At some point.
Besides Tig, also obviously learning gifts at the moment.
At some point over the telekinetic, the telepathy field thing that we have.
No telekinesis, please.
Shadow will. My pack. At some point, when all of our individual tasks are not urgent, we should practice fighting as a pack. We have our individual strengths, but there are certain things that we can only do in working together. We should train.
Thinking like a warrior.
Having to get us our pack maneuvers.
Indeed. Yeah, maybe we can get into that a little bit next week.
Yeah.
I'll have to remember to remind me to check that out. Anybody else?
Yeah. C is actually taking a bit of a walk into the deeper areas of the forest.
Okay.
Just kind of finding a spot that's a little more quiet where he can just kind of sit down and focus, kind of. I don't want to say doing the protagonist brooding moment, but definitely trying to get a moment of quiet where he can just stop and think and run through everything that he's been learning and trying to puzzle out what needs to be done next, and maybe see if the ancestors that he had spotted before might try and contact him again when he finds a more quiet location. Just
Somewhere where Estrella won't stalk him.
honestly, he's probably not even thinking about Estrella right now. Just
He'd have to go pretty deep into the woods to keep her from stalking him. So, good luck.
he's just finding a spot that's off the
Okay.
beaten path.
All right, and what's Grudek up to?
Grudek is, I think, going ahead and preparing the evening meal for the Sept.
Such a good, helpful little food person Grudek is.
I argue the term little.
Medium-sized-ish food person.
Very
Although
large.
actually, given how much time he probably spends in Krynos form, probably, yeah, somewhat large. All right.
Do you want me to roll for it or just?
Yeah,
do
if
it?
you want to, let's see how it turns out.
Oh boy.
Because that could have some social repercussions if he messes up everyone's dinner at this particular time, this juncture.
With all the tension in the air.
Yeah, and his social position being somewhat wobbly in certain areas of the Sept.
What's the difficulty?
Let's see. I'm gonna say 6. It's just standard evening meal, right? You're not trying anything super fancy.
No.
Okay.
Oops. I'm adding modifiers instead of difficulty. It's not a good idea.
Hey!
4 successes.
Okay, so yeah, you make just really, really. You somehow manage to please everybody, which is rough around here because you've got some of the softer city folk that really miss city food. Plus, you've got people that live out in the woods and mostly eat, squirrels.
And then he's got like half of a cow set aside for Shadow.
So yeah, somehow you manage to make a whole spread that it just, makes everybody pretty happy. And while they're eating, Bridge Runner is the first to get back from his city step. And he comes over to get some food. So everybody's concentrated in one area right now, eating Grudek's delicious repast. So Bridge Runner comes over, smelling the delicious, and is available if anyone wanted to speak to him.
Yeah, Grudek's definitely going to sidle up to him.
Okay. Oh, hey, Papa Grudek. How's it going?
Good, Bridge Runner. Did you get everything done you need to do?
Oh, yeah, just, errands and human stuff, it happens.
Of course. No, I absolutely understand. We have a new arrival, new friend for Siobhan and Ocean.
Okay. Well, I hadn't heard about this. What's going on?
Oh, it's no problem, of course, no problem. I look after her. She's doing very well. Silver Glare brought back a new friend.
All right. She had another kid?
No, it's not her kid. As far as I'm aware. You know how my pack we found the phone and brought back and found black spirals, yes?
Oh, Jesus. You're not going to say what you're about to say, are you?
Well, that depends. Because if you think I'm going to tell you latest sports scores, you're horribly disappointed. But if you think I'm going to tell you the Silver Glare brought back little girl from Black Spiral building, then yes, I am.
And he just does the mother of all face palms. All right. Black Spiral kinfolk. Hanging out with, all right.
She was abandoned by her mother.
Yeah, I don't imagine that Black Spiral kinfolk are the best caregivers, but I'm not really sure how that's our problem.
It's not a problem.
I know you didn't do it. But it's not like I can yell at Silver Glare. She's,
No, it's okay.
a bit above my station.
In Bridge Runner, you always know if you need someone to yell at, I'm always here. But
No, I don't have the heart to yell at you.
she's a good kid, Bridge Runner. She really is. She's had very, very hard life, and please keep in mind, is Bonar telling you this?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll keep an eye on her. I mean, that's my job. So
You should be very proud, like I am, of Siobhan. She's been just wonderful with her. Bringing her
yeah.
out.
I can imagine. Yeah. She's,
Probably best thing for her is to have this new friend.
Yeah. If that girl weren't born kinfolk, she'd end up president or something. I tell you, she's something. Anyhow,
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
kinfolk president. That would solve a lot of our problems, wouldn't it?
That's right.
Anyhow, I'll go and meet her and let her know who I am, introduce myself, and all that.
It's okay if I
President of
come
the United
with.
States
She's
of
a
kinfolk.
still a little bit skittish. You can imagine growing up around Black Spirals is terrible. She's not used to good people, so
Yeah. That's true. And she doesn't know. She probably don't know what a den father is. I mean, I don't think the Black Spirals have those. I don't think they give a damn about raising their young. So probably
not-
never even heard of a den father.
certainly the woman who seemed to be her mother didn't seem to care too much. Come, you finish your dinner, and then we go together.
All right. Well, let me eat first, and then I gotta get my strength before
Of course. Do you like
I
it,
dive
by
into
the way?
this situation. This is great.
Good.
I
New
don't know
recipe.
how you do
Trying
it.
it out. Lots of practice. Lots of terrible meals I don't serve.
Now, I can't speak for everyone here, but I'm certainly glad that you came because the quality of the food here has improved considerably from what it was. No offense to the former cook, i.e., me.
Of course, no problem. I just feel very glad you all would give me the opportunity to cook. It's not that every day people are this enthusiastic about eating rat.
What?
No, just kidding. You know I wouldn't eat. No,
Do
it's
not
my
do
little
that to
joke.
me, son.
Okay, no problem.
I just about lost
He's
my dinner all
Bonard.
over your shoes. Bonars, man. All right, I'm gonna finish up eating, and then I'll head back over to the kids' cabin.
Okay.
So he settles down and digs in.
Was his reaction genuine? I mean, was he genuinely upset? Did he seem overly shocked, or sort of about what I would expect?
Why don't you do a perception and empathy roll?
Sure.
Difficulty 6.
Four successes.
Yeah, he you can tell that he's probably not going to be giving the kid the benefit of the doubt. You got a definite strong sense of, oh crap, Black Spiral, probably going to be trouble.
Okay.
Other than that, there wasn't anything particularly unusual about his reaction. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a guy who did not know the girl was here, did not want her here, and is now just going to make the best of it because that's his job. There's a kid here, his job is to care for her, and he's like, but you definitely get a feeling that he's like, oh, this is going to just screw everything up.
Okay, then over the totem link, the others would hear. I just spoke to Bridge Runner. he's not thrilled to have the child here, but also doesn't seem particularly worried, as I might expect if he knew more about the black spirals. But I'll go with him when he sees her, just to see.
It doesn't really matter how much he knows. The main authority figure around her being some prejudiced against her isn't helpful.
No, but I will help with that transition, I hope. My main concern was trying to find out if he might be the one working with the spirals. I would have expected a different reaction had he been that person. Of course, maybe he's a better actor than I am at picking up on signals. But just letting you know, I don't have concerns in that direction. But Thistle, I absolutely hear you, and I think you're right. I'll make sure I do my best to smooth it over.
Bridge Runner's a bit of a slow eater. And also is eating a lot because he's, he may not be in our room, but he's still Guru and he's got a hell of an appetite. So he's like on his third helping or so when
I am under the impression, this may be wrong, I don't care, that most of the Sept eats like anime characters and just has a stack of plates next to them.
Yeah, kind of. Pretty much, yeah. So on about his third helping is when Tim returns, walking up along the stream, as one does, who has jumped over the rock. And it's dark by the time he gets back. The moon isn't up yet, but the sun has gone down. It's like 8 or so.
I'm probably somewhere near the entrance training still, so when I see him come in just over the telepathic link, Tim has returned. Tig and C, I know we wished to speak with him.
If Shadow is within visual range when he's walking back up in Hamid form, then he'll just like give him kind of a distracted little wave. He looks like he's got stuff going on in his head.
He seems to be preoccupied with something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm assuming I'm not hearing any of this because I'm in the penumbra, right?
You could probably come back at any point now if you want, because it's been several hours now.
Didn't you also hear it in the penumbra because our spirit?
Yeah, you'd still hear the.
Oh, you can talk across the gauntlet.
Yep.
Our spirit. Our spirit isn't in the material world, so.
Yeah, and also Tig, you could hear it if you were in Texas. So.
That's fair.
Yeah. So Tim is, distractedly wandering up the stream toward the eating area.
I'm not exactly surprised that he was going to get information. Probably best not to bother him immediately. We wanted me to talk to him, right? Because there's this vague sense of the word dad that doesn't quite get verbalized. And I'm resident child of Gaia, stuff like that.
Interestingly enough, as he makes a beeline for the food area, he's clearly looking around at everyone who's eating, and his eyes stop on every one of you who is there, and he waits to make eye contact with you. And when he does make eye contact with each pack member, he does a little toward the amphitheater direction, like. And he waits until he's made eye contact with each of you, including Tig. Are you back?
So when he gets the message, I'll say Tig was back, but definitely not near the food area at the time. And as soon as, excuse me, Shadow's "Hey, Tim's back" message comes over, Tig's actually going to try and sneak up on him just to see if he can do it.
Oh, okay.
And get pounded into the ground.
It's more the whole I'm looking around for somebody and I don't notice them until I turn around and they're like right there.
Dexterity stealth difficulty 8.
Okay, let's see.
It's just one of those things where like Tyke sneaks up and then Tim just turns around and just plummets him into the ground.
C is notably not back at the moment.
Okay.
Did he do that head nod thing to me when he passed, or?
Did you make eye contact?
Yeah.
Or were you? Okay.
I would have been eye contact.
Yeah. Then he would have just done kind of a. Could you? Just that gesture
sure.
that's like, would you come with me?
Then it would have the message of "It seems he wants to speak with us" would have followed.
Okay. So now you've all heard that, probably including
Okay.
C off in his.
Oh, that's a botch.
Okay. So Tig, you literally collide with the Cairn Warder. Like in your
Okay.
attempt to sneak up behind him, he suddenly turns around and just runs smack into you.
Tig
Nearly
will
knocks
specifically.
you down because he probably weighs like twice
Oh no,
what you do.
no! Tig is going to rebound off that and literally throw himself back on his ass and skid across the grass a little bit just for the dramatic flair.
Overselling it.
He is going to oversell the shit out of that.
Hi, Shawn Michaels.
That's our tag.
Tim just looks down at him and says, "Graceful ragabash, huh?"
Well, figured the stereotype was a bit overemphasized.
Yeah. You just keep telling yourself that, kid. He gives him a thumbs up.
So I don't need to roll the shift back to my Hobbit form, correct?
Right. You could just
Okay.
right back to breed form. Instant.
So what's in the offing then?
Come on. I need to talk to as many of you as are here. So I'm gonna head to the amphitheater.
Thistle will.
I'll put out the word for you.
Thanks.
See, Tim wants to talk. I don't want to bother you, but should we do that now? Should we wait for you?
I got the message. I'll
sorry.
be there in a bit.
See, Tim wants to talk to us, and I'm not worried at interrupting you at all.
Oh, Tig.
I
Thank
was
you, Ty.
being delicate and letting him be angsty.
I know, but you're the polite one out of us all, so I'm not.
I'm the genre savvy one.
Thank you, all three of you. I will be there in a minute.
The patience of a saint, this one.
Should I come
You
with
get-
everyone? Or?
See you in a bit, Stormcloud, or whatever it is we're calling you now.
Yes, Grudek, you should come too. And in
Always
response,
thought
And
it
did
was
say as
whatever.
many of you as are here.
in
Yep.
response to C's all three, thank you all three of you. You get the closest thing that Shadow can do to a puzzled emoji.
Yeah. And Thistle will probably like stay in lupus form to walk over just to prove to herself Z can do that.
So
Like
does he,
it's
does
a
he
little more
approach-
careful with the other pack members around. Like, I'm doing this like it's normal. I'm doing this like it's normal.
Does he approach Tim in that form?
Yeah, and Tim's probably, if I remember right, the only person who has 100% definitely seen Thistle. in
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So when he sees Zer, like he has this, he's wearing this sort of like
Mhm.
cloudy, thoughtful, disturbed look. But when he sees Zer, like his eyes actually light up for a second, and he gets this look like he impulsively wants to be like, "Oh, good job, you're doing great at this." But then you also see him like back off of that and be like, "No, I'm cool. It's cool. It's totally normal.
Want to be
Totally.
supportive father. Oh, wait, no, wait. Calm down.
I'm the Cairn Warder now. I'm the Cairn Warder."
At
so yeah.
Shadow's puzzled emoji, Tig, not entirely sure, but going off assumptions, is going to go over the mental link. Shadow there, big fella. 3's a number. One more than your ears and one less than your legs in your normal form.
I know how many.
All right, wasn't sure what you were after there.
is. I was curious because only the two of you were bugging C.
3 people had given me the message that Tim was seeking to speak to us.
Yeah.
And what he's implying is you all bothered him.
Except for Grudek. Papa Grudek's the good child of the.
Indeed. Everybody loves Grudek. That's the spin-off. Everybody loves Grudek.
What he's implying is I
Our
got it the first
Galliard
time.
is the one who doesn't bother people with
I know,
certain
right?
stories and information.
So Tim waits for everybody to assemble, which I assume you all do at some point, unless anything occurs. Grudek, what's your situation?
Yeah, he will go. But as Bridge Runner is still eating, Grudek will say, Bridge Runner, listen. Like I said, I want to go back with you. Please stay, keep eating. I just have some dessert. I'll bring back. I just have to go and get it. I forgot. Just wait for me, okay?
All right, dessert, huh? All right, I can't wait.
And then he goes out and runs by his little tarp tent and grabs some chocolates or something sweet that he has squirreled away there, stuffs them into his pocket, and then runs to the amphitheater.
Here, have some pocket chocolate, Bridge Runner. There's my dessert.
This best kind of chocolate. Don't worry.
Okay.
The lint enhances the texture.
So Tim waits for everybody to assemble, and then he says, I've got like some pretty disturbing news. My daughter contacted some of her a network of helpful cops, and they spotted the van. This afternoon, they spotted it, but it was out near Hollister Hills. He glances towards C, the RV park there.
He kind of narrows his eyes.
And see, that was where
Yeah,
you.
that was where
RV,
I had my first change.
Yep, that RV park that you explored. That's Hollister Hills RV Park.
Isn't that the Western Claw?
The Eastern, but yeah,
Eastern Claw? Yeah.
That's where the van has been spotted. So see, you know what that means. The rest of you probably won't know. And Tim looks like he's trying to figure out how to explain.
Yeah, Grudek is just looking concerned towards C.
That's the site of the Eastern Claw.
It was
Eastern
an old-
Claw runs that.
It was the Eastern Claw. Tim explains is a lost cairn. There's no longer a cairn there, but there is a group that still lives there. That see, do you want to? I don't know how to describe them in a way that is diplomatic. So I'm going to let.
There
C,
is a group.
they're his family.
There is a group of xenophobic guru who have been having trouble keeping their bloodlines healthy that exist within the cairn site of the former Eastern Claw Sept. They are aggressive to outsiders, and from my understanding, have only rarely worked with any of the other cairns in this region, believing them to be tainted and impure. They were present for the site of my first change, and I don't know as much about them as my one family member within this sept. Morning Cloud, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Morning Cloud is your cousin, or your mom's cousin,
my
your second
one
cousin.
Yeah, my one family member within this sept Morning Cloud might know more, but they are dangerous at the best of times, and if the Black Spiral have ill intent with them, I grow more concerned.
Now
So
I
you're
want to
saying they're like the-
emphasize. I'm sorry, you were going to say something, Tag.
Tim starts talking, Tag shuts right the fuck up.
I want to emphasize that all I'm saying is that the van belonging to this woman, the Black Spiral's mother, was seen in that RV park. That is the only information I have. Okay? I'm not saying anything besides that. You understand? But That is not a coincidence. I don't think. I'm not going to say what it means. I don't like to rush to conclusions about things. I like to take my time. But that is a fact. That woman's van, the same van that was here when the Black Spirals investigated, it is now at the RV park. Or was this afternoon.
And according to out of character, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Wormfoe say that same van probably belonged to the mother?
Yeah, it is definitely the mom's van, and it is now at the RV park. So,
if there was, you said they were insular. If there was an attack, something would we know?
No. If they were attacked, I don't think they would reach out to anyone unless they were bleeding out on their last legs.
See, is there any possibility that they could be working with the spirals?
I think that's what I fear more.
We must determine then if they have perished fighting the worm, or welcomed it with open arms.
Or like the Howlers attempted to fight it and become what they fought.
And Tim, as you guys talk, he very much has the demeanor of someone who is listening to testimony or otherwise just passively, as though he trusts you guys to be the one to figure out what's going on, and he's just
I think
listening.
we go to ourselves. I mean, you're approaching this from a rather binary perspective, I'd say. Sure, the van's been seen down there, but we already know the Black Spirals have insider contacts to our own sept. So if they're trying to lure people away, this is an excellent red herring.
Is that over the telepathic link?
Yes.
Okay.
Or is it?
Oh yeah.
So it's not out loud.
No, this is
Okay.
this is brain talk.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, because Tyke
So-
knows very well that we can't tip the hand to say, "Hey, we know there's a spy."
Got it.
So yeah, Tyke's just sitting there, kind of looking pensive and listening while he's brain talking this to everybody else.
What I was actually going to ask that. What does our pack look like when we communicate telepathically? Do you all just look?
I
like we're
need
sitting
to
there
find
deep
that
in
Young
thought?
Justice clip.
It looks a little bit like if someone were praying or meditating, because it's that same kind of focus where your eyes kind of lose focus and you're just concentrating.
Okay.
So like you could look really thoughtful, or sometimes it helps to close your eyes. So it might.
See,
It's
do we
just
have
a very.
do we have any way to reach out to your weirdo hill folk Garu relatives?
See who is probably the ones keeping conversation with Tim, so Tim doesn't get suspicious about the fact that we're all brain talking. Just kind of in the middle of the conversation interjects, and I honestly don't know if we have any real way of reaching out to them. Apparently, the last time that we reached out was the previous. What's the title of the one that not Tim, but
Wormfoe?
T-Tree, the one that T-Tree had to take over from.
Celeste, you mean the former sept leader?
Yeah, the former sept. Yes, apparently the last time that anyone really had strong communications with this group was the last sept leader, Celeste.
Is this out loud or?
Yeah, this is my conversation to Tim.
Okay. Yes.
Multi-level conversations.
Yeah, I'm
Celeste-
talking out loud so Tim doesn't get
Yeah,
suspicious
and
about why
Thistle is
everyone else
probably favoring the verbal conversation as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And Tim agrees. Celeste had good relations with them. I don't believe T-Tree has dealt with them yet at all.
So I don't know if we really have any method of communicating with them to find out what's been going on.
How did your contact with them end? See,
I wandered into their lands, was dragged before I can only assume their sept leader had my first change and bolted out. It wasn't exactly a conversational experience.
So not great.
And then mommy rescued you.
No, he's not going to say that out loud.
Well,
And then mommy drove me home.
Were they outwardly hostile to you, or is it something you feel that you could reapproach them in the spirit of making contact, or perhaps under the auspices of saying, I now know who I am, I want to come back?
That might be the only way that I could contact them. They seemed aggressively xenophobic, as if, had they not realized who and what I was, they might have killed me.
Were they Uktena?
Out of game, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I would trust your judgment if you feel that you would be comfortable to approach again, and if you feel you could approach with us accompanying you, or simply in the reserve. I'm less comfortable of the idea of you going alone.
Unfortunately, the Uktena have a long history of keeping secrets and then being burned whenever they let those secrets loose. I think the only one who could get into contact with them would be an Uktena.
I have a question out of game about politics in the world of Werewolf.
Sure.
What is the Uktena as a clan's view on me, who has mated with 2 of their kinfolk and fostered and fathered many children from their kinfolk?
Again, the Uktena are not a monolith, but there would be a great number of them who would actually disapprove of March Lion for letting that happen.
Okay.
That he would let his kids mate with a get of Fenris, even if he was Lupus. And then there would be other Uktena that would be like, dude, no, like, Lupus willing to make more of us, that's awesome, so maybe he's okay as get of Fenris go. And also he's not even Hamid, so he doesn't carry as much baggage, as the human Europeans do, right?
The highly xenophobic people might be more on the we don't like other people
Yeah,
side.
no,
it is safe to assume that this particular subgroup of Uktena that won't even speak to these Uktena anymore because they talk to children of Gaia.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to how that whole politics thing goes, because
it'll definitely vary from person to person, but in general you can assume that there will still be some Uktena that will be horrified that that whole merger even happened. But Marsh Lion is apparently cool with it.
But I would suspect, and I mean absolutely no ill will to anyone, I understand how truly merged the world of the Guru is, but most of you come from tribes that the more xenophobic Uktena still would label as wormcomers.
Yeah, as much
another.
as
Go ahead.
And him just kind of nods sadly, like.
as much as it's definitively inaccurate to refer to us as white, we're definitely not we're definitely not a local tribe.
Yeah. Children of Gaia, Tim says aloud, children of Gaia are probably the only tribe that's more diverse ethnically than us is the Uktena. They've embraced a lot of
Grudek kind of raises his hand.
All right, Bonars, he says. Kind of gives Grudek a little wink. But they've embraced a lot of marginalized cultures. But the children of Gaia have always, from our inception, been not based around a homeland
We're the
so much
Hufflepuffs.
as an idea.
Or
the children
rather,
of Gaia,
the reductive interpretation of the Hufflepuffs as presented by first-year students. We're the Hufflepuffs as perceived by pop culture.
What is a Hufflepuff?
It's a very
Oh
long
my god,
story.
there are so many movies. You know what? You know what? We've got Harry Potter movie night tonight. I'm gonna show the little kids, and I'm also gonna show you. I have, I think, the first two on my phone. It's fine. I have Harry Potter movie night.
As Thistle is getting very excited to show Shadow about Harry Potter.
Thistle is covering for any conversation that needs to happen in the head.
In brain
but-
space.
And Tim is sort of smiling, like this faint little affectionate smile as Thistle goes on a.
But yeah, there is
Peak tangent.
definitely that took longer than it needed to tangent.
But C definitely like looks to Tim and to the others and is, if we are going to see what we can find out, I think the only method that we could really make contact is if the rest of my pack remained close in case I needed them. But I think I would be the only one who could actually go to speak.
Yeah, and don't go at night.
Also, out of character question, if I may.
Mhm.
If we were to go in Lupus, we'd still be to other Guru. It'd still be obvious that we were of other tribes, correct?
Yeah. The fur patterns and the colors and markings, to some extent, they do vary by tribe. It depends on how pure breed you are. Tig in particular would be very recognizable as Fianna in Lupus form.
Also, a number of us have brands.
Yeah,
I'm-
and some of you have tribal brands and stuff. So
The brand aside, I would be mistaken for a Shadow Lord.
yeah, he would definitely. None of you look like Uktena. The pure breed Uktena are, well, except for C. They're like dark brown and often have kind of reddish highlights on them, and none of you look like that. So they would know on sight that you are not Uktena, except for
and
C.
Yeah, C looks the most
And
red wolf out
just
of the
being
rest.
Uktena is probably not good enough.
Yeah, as it clearly, yeah.
It might be worth. See, obviously it's your thing, but it might be worth at least asking Tea Tree. Tea Tree, correct? Yes, no.
Yes.
It's the Sept leader.
Okay.
Step leader tea tree.
Yeah. Sorry, I genuinely have notes on all these people in front of me. I'm
No, it's
just
fine.
really bad with it.
Even I have to look through my notes half the time. So yeah, and I invented these.
It might
people,
be
so-
worth asking Tea Tree, just in case there's anything she knows that was set up or that might be useful. You said you also have a cousin who might know something.
Yes, Morning Cloud.
You need to
And
speak
this
with her
is-
about
I
something.
just I know
as
we
the
can't go in
storyteller-
with you, but
Yeah, as the storyteller, I feel the need to point out that of the five of you, and some of you have been kind of hanging around here a lot, talking to people, getting to know them, especially Grudek. C is the only one of you who has spoken to Morning Cloud. Like, just straight up, I'm telling you, you have never spoken to her. She has avoided all of you. Yeah, so
it-
even Grudek has
yeah,
never spoken.
Didn't I talk to her when I first came in the Sept and she was really angry and then has
Hasn't spoken to you since.
okay.
What's the best way? I know we can't go with you, but I want you to go in as prepared as possible, especially if we can't go with you.
And we should be close so we can come in if you need us.
I
There's a
agree.
fence at the edge of their land. If you stay as close to that as possible, that should be within a good range.
What sort of fence?
Just chain link, you could easily hop it.
Grudek kind of smiles and says, "Okay, it's no problem."
Well, I was wanting to speak with Morning Cloud about some other things anyway, so
Morning
Tim
Cloud's
says, good luck.
Morning Cloud has a little bit of the that Sept's distaste for others. I wouldn't say she's as bad as they are, but
Tim interjects gently. I'd say more trust issues. I
Well, I
think
have a
she's
very
a good
open face.
girl. I think she's a good girl. She just has trust issues.
People tend to trust me.
I don't. Says Tim cheerfully with a
I
smile.
also look at Ty.
Well,
I'm teasing you. No, you're a good kid. But I never trust a ragabash farther than I can throw him.
Well, that's the good thing. People can throw me pretty far.
Yeah, I bet I could toss you a good, yeah,
oh, be
10,
careful
15
with
yards.
that.
Want to try it? No,
Ooh,
you guys.
fastball special. No, that gets people hurt when the people aren't made of metal.
Pardon
One
my
I actually
levity.
recognize.
Pardon my levity. I know this is very serious, but I just sometimes you got to do something to just relax a little, you know.
That should definitely wait till the morning. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there at night because they, the Octena, well, even the ones that aren't creepy, they have lots of ways of making the dark even darker, and you don't want to be wandering into their turf in pitch darkness, which they can make even darker. They'll rip you apart, I would think. This is the military strategist in me saying, make it sure it's as bright as possible.
Well, I have no
I
problem
agree.
waiting till morning then.
And that might give us some time to deal with whatever other business is going on around here. I've already gotten a message from Tea Tree that we have a new arrival, so I've got to go talk with her about that as soon as I get the chance. Unless there's anything else you want to talk to me about?
If you have some time later, it's not anything at all urgent.
Sure, I always have time for you.
So you have another. I have a half sister.
Yeah. That was back when I was trying to do the good, honorably mated thing and stay with her mom, and that was a disaster and a half. But but I'm still on pretty good terms with her. Her mom wasn't kinfolk, and it didn't work. But when she got to first change age, I told her everything. Because for all I knew, she was going to change, right? Well, she didn't. But we stayed pretty close, and and she became a cop, like, partly to help. She's good. She's a good one. But she's not as comfortable with the guru stuff as some of the kinfolk here are. So she prefers to mostly have a normal life. But when she can help us, she does.
That's fair.
Tig is looking at Tim like he is just completely incomprehensible at this point.
And there's just a very sarcastic and dry, and you wonder why I don't have family conversations in front of you guys unless I want to make the parent in question uncomfortable. This a little.
I just kind of over the brainwave.
Thistle is getting a vibe from Tig that is not at all the reason that he's confused at this point. He's confused on an entirely different fundamental level.
See, just kind of like over the brainwave. Tig, your mouse dropped.
There's a beat, and then it drops about another half-inch open.
You will catch flies in that if you're not careful.
Yeah, so Thistle, letting this just continue behind her. Well, I'd like to. I don't know if she'd be. Everyone has different feelings about breakups and stuff. If I don't know this side of my family very much, so
Yeah.
the city, if that's something she'd be.
Yeah,
open
let
to.
me figure out how I want to break this to her. But yeah, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying, and I think you'd get along. I just want to take some time and think about the best, most diplomatic way to say, oh, by the way, you've got a sibling. Oops. Because
Yeah.
as you can imagine, things are delicate with her, and she's very
Yeah.
valuable to
Yeah.
the sept. But
Of
I gotta,
course.
I'll think about it. It takes me a while to process things sometimes, and I just want to make sure I do it right. But I think you should meet her, and she could be helpful to you too. She's really helpful.
Like I said, it's not urgent, but
Yeah, I'll keep that on the back burner while we deal with all this other stuff, because she's a good person to have in your corner. And the storyteller has completely forgotten what name I gave her. So if any of you remembers, and if not, I'll make up something new if it becomes relevant. It's in my
started
notes
with
somewhere.
an M, I think, like Marta. Does that sound right at all?
No, it
Could be.
is. Hang on a second.
MARTA is the transportation organization and company in Atlanta that handles most of the public transportation and is
Helen.
crap at it.
Helen. All right.
Well,
Helen is
those
Well
are
done, Tig.
the same
Well done.
number of letters.
Helen. Okay. Helen. Thank you. So many names. All right. So he says, I'm going to speak with Tea Tree out loud for a bit. And then, let me know if you need anything later, but I got to talk with my pack. So he sort of shuffles off in his way with his little, you see his long gray ponytail as he shuffles off with his hands in his pockets.
Oh,
Riddick leans over to Shadow and says, "It's okay. I didn't know it either. I thought Hufflepuff was English word for Kremovka Papieska. The little ones with cream in pastries."
this is why I need to introduce the children to all of the fandom, because none of you will.
So Thistle, is that what a stable father figure looks like?
I think it depends very much on your definition of stable, acceptable, like...
Be right back. I'm still listening.
I look.
I'm not... In what way are you asking?
In the way of somebody who's known as Da for about 3 months goes?
You have me beat by several months there. God damn it.
I knew my children.
What shows have you
for
seen?
3
What
years.
media intake? I can contextualize things in that.
Faulty Towers?
I think Grudek is sort of
I look
fading away into the background.
I look over
at.
I had a response for Grudek's cream pastry thing. I believe you mean a crema pasticera.
No. It's the Pope cakes. I probably don't have here.
Pope cakes?
Similar though. Yeah, for the Pope.
They are small
Tig
pastries
snaps his
with
fingers
cream
and is
in
like, I know exactly what you're talking about there, lad.
There we are.
They're small cakes with cream in them.
Yes, but that's lots of cakes with cream. Very excited to show you.
The ones in Sicily were delicious.
Excellent. I'll take you on a tour of the world through cream cakes from all over.
I'll now turn to Thistle. So before or after Harry Potter, are you going to ask your father about 10 years ago?
I will, of course, tell you, but that's a sort of a topic I want to bring up not in, hey, we're telling this pack important information about the current state of
Political affairs.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid using any insulting terms because while you have grounds to, I do not.
I understand.
Yeah. Though I am trying to think of the logistics of that because you know what? We'll do pack movie night tonight, and kid movie night can be like tomorrow, and I can think a little more about what would be a good. You're always tempted to go classics, but just because something's the first in a genre doesn't mean it's the best entry point.
Tag has wandered off to go look for Morning Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't snuck off. He's just wandered off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
The same. Grudek did the same, going back to where Bridge Runner is.
Okay. Bridge Runner is fidgeting and waiting for his dessert.
Grudek sits down and says, "I brought for you. It's Polish. You like it? Very good. It's called. Well, in English it sounds weird. It's called bird's milk. But here, try." And he produces the little packet of chocolates from his pocket.
Is it a Toblerone?
No, they're little. They're kind of like cream nougat surrounded with chocolate.
Okay.
Oh, I can get behind any kind of chocolate, no matter where it's from. Let's have at it. So he snarfs some chocolates.
There's a weird little slam on Poland.
You get the feeling that he hasn't done a lot of world traveling.
And Grudek will just sort of sit and wait until he's ready to walk back to the kids.
Okay. And for the record, at the moment, Morning Cloud is emptying one of the latrine pits.
What is it about Tag and always finding people who are engaged in manual labor?
Something about Tig not being engaged in
because
manual labor.
He's always talking to keepers and the keeper of the land, and that's pretty much they're the landscapers and groundskeepers around here. So yeah. But although she's high enough up in the hierarchy that she shouldn't be doing this, and yet she is. She's at the moment she's got a bucket of sludge that she is looking for a place to dump.
Tag will kind of wrinkle his nose, not in a oh my god sort of way, but just in a oh that smells a little ripe sort of way, and then just wander right up. He can give you a hand with that.
She gives him this look like, are you kidding me? She looks at him like he's grown antlers or something. And for the record, it doesn't smell quite as bad as you would expect. It's been composting for like a couple of years.
It's fairly inert at this point.
But it's not super pleasant. It's just So yeah, she just looks at Tig like he's insane. Are you in trouble? She says.
No, I just fancied myself a few minutes conversation.
What is it you want?
Well, first off, to know if I can give you a wee bit of assistance before I go flapping my gums all over the topics.
Tell me what you want first.
Well, I heard a weird rumor that it was some outsider who fucked the entire shit show to pieces a few years back, and I wanted to get your take on it.
I'm actually checking something here quickly.
Okay.
While I check that, Grudek, are you and Bridge Runner heading back to where the kids are? You're muted.
Sorry. Whenever he's ready to go, I'll go with him.
Okay, so while I'm looking this up, why don't you do your introduction to Emma of Bridge Runner?
Okay. The kids, I guess, eat at the cabin, or they don't come and eat with everybody else?
No, they eat inside the kids' cabin.
Okay. Then he has I guess maybe grab 2 packets of the candy.
Okay.
And has gone back and says, as they're walking back, can I have a little bit of a conversation with him as we go back? I don't want to disrupt the other. Okay.
It's fine.
So as they go back, Grudek says, "Listen, Bridge Runner, I have to say, sorry about that thing with brush fire. You know how it is with packs. Sometimes not everybody is on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Just want you to know I thought you were in the right, and I thought we were out of line."
Oh. Well, thanks for that.
And he looks. He says, "Look, I'm used to people overlooking people from my tribe for jobs at which they'd be perfectly suited just because of who they are. It seems like you get some of that here."
Yeah. Good luck being a theurge of any other tribe than Uktena here. Although, they don't even have one right now. That's the most frustrating thing, is that they have every other damn auspice working on the spiritual side right now. They got a Galliard as Right Master. They got a damn Ragabash as Keeper of the Land. They got, an Arun.
Out of game clarification, because I'm trying to keep careful notes.
Yeah.
Is March Lion a theurge? I thought
He
that
is
was
not.
Oh,
He is
okay.
not.
Sorry, my
Yep.
notes are wrong. I interrupted.
No, it's fine. And it may be even that Thistle didn't know that for sure, because it's not a thing that he makes like a big point of mentioning. Yeah, and they got an Arun as a Caller of the Wild. It's like they will do anything rather than have someone outside their tribe serve in one of those positions, and it's frustrating. Anyway, that's neither here nor there at the moment. It's been an ongoing. That's why I'm still. That's why I'm still a foster, and I should have been promoted 2 or 3 times. And they always find something I've done wrong that's such a big deal, and so no, I get my, I've gotten dressed down at so many damn moots for stuff I didn't even do or that wasn't that big a deal, just so they can keep me from advancing, and it's frustrating. And I feel sorry for your little friend Thistle, because he's going to have the same problem here.
Grudek shakes his head and says, I was here for what? How long before March Lion even let me make someone a sandwich? It's
yeah.
What does that come from? Is it just ownership that they feel they have of Spirit
Yep.
World, or?
Yep. Well, it's their land, it's their spirits, it's their everything. We're the interlopers, and no matter how long we're here, no matter how many generations are here, we're always the interlopers. We're the thieves, and they're just never going to like us, and that's just how it is.
What does it have? Were there non-Uktena theurges before the attack 10 years ago?
There haven't been any so long as I've been here. I've only been here. I came right after that. That was one of the reasons that they fostered me from another sept, is because they just didn't have enough local people. They started calling in from all over, and my sept wanted to get rid of me anyway, so they just sent me on over here.
What was it? Do you know? Something in the trees. Something under the trees?
You mean the Bane that attacked?
It was going for those trees, right? That's what I heard.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't here. I just, all I know is that I was told there was a bloodbath here and they needed new people, and I wasn't doing so great in the Coastal Empire, so I thought, hey, new opportunity. Well, I walked out of the frying pan into the goddamn fire, but here I am.
If he'll let him do it, Grudek will reach out and pat him on the arm and say, "Well, we're here in the frying pan together."
Appreciate it. And you're pretty good with that frying pan, if I do say so myself.
Grudek grins and he says, "No, best way for pierogi second day. Frying pan, butter. Don't worry. Next time I have onions, I'll take care of it."
All right, let's go meet this girl. And so they head back toward the kids' cabin, and meanwhile, Morning Cloud has probably been staring blankly at Tyke for about this long. No, not quite that long. And remind me of what his exact last question was.
Basically,
or you can ask a whole new one if you want. It doesn't
right?
matter.
Yeah, no. Basically, that he's heard that it was an outsider of sorts who sort of opened the door for this Bane to show up, and he wanted to get her take on it, as far as what happened and why.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd love to get my take on it, she says. Just looks him right in the eye. And says nothing else.
Right.
Do you want to make a roll for like some kind of am I charming her kind of thing?
Yeah, he would.
Okay.
What would that be in your opinion?
Charisma
and
it depends on whether are you relying on just your general niceness, or are you actually trying to manipulate her?
He is trying to pass himself off as, yes, I'm an outsider. I'm not somebody from your own tribe, but I have a genuine interest in what everybody's gone through here, and he's willing to say that, and he's approaching it from an ally standpoint. Honestly, I'm not from your disenfranchised group, but I have your back.
I would say, since there's some kind of conscious thought here of how he's trying to manage her, I would use manipulation plus expression.
Manipulation and expression. Now,
difficulty 9.
Okay. So manipulation and expression, difficulty 9. Now, given that this is a social role, Purebreed is supposed to add extra dice to any social role to any werewolf, even if they're a black spiral. Can I add those extra 3? Okay. Cool. 2 successes.
Hot damn.
Hey!
Congratulations, Ty, again. That was a feat.
Did you roll with the extra dice? There's no modifier there.
It didn't add it in there, but...
You still got 2 successes, but...
How?
2 successes without the modifier.
Holy cow, a 9 and a 10.
This is what he do.
Do you want to roll those extra dice?
I'm almost afraid that he would get fewer successes, so I might just leave it at the 2.
Right, you might roll a pair of 1s.
Yeah.
You're muted there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
3 1s you botch, and she, attacks you or something.
Right.
Or has been suggested in the chat, dumps the bucket on him.
Yeah. Aaron, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, can't you just roll the 2 or 3 more dice? You don't have to re-roll.
Well, he was afraid he'd get 3 1s.
Yeah. Right.
And 3 1s would, So we'll quit while we're ahead. And we'll just say that, this represents that he wasn't like trying to use his full like pure breed charisma or whatever. So she looks at him for a minute, and it's not to say that she seems to warm to him, but the absolute shards of ice that were bristling from her kind of dissipate, and now she's just like regular amounts of cold and wary. And she hands him the bucket.
And he just shoulders it with a sort of, all right, so where do we need to shift this?
And she just walks alongside him and says, we have to find different areas of the woods to dump it. And so we're heading this way today. I'll show you. There's a clean area that hasn't been used for a while.
Right, Char?
And you might as well get used to doing this because as a Ragabash, you'll probably get this duty a lot because you'll get in trouble a lot. I used to be
I
this.
wonder what that's like.
When I was young, I was more of a Ragabash, so I understand that. Anyway, so there was something you wanted, right? So just get to it, if you would, please.
Well, I know that there's a great deal of tension in the Sept here between the Uktena, Children of Gaia, and any of the rest of us poor sods that find ourselves caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in necessarily choosing a particular brand of loyalty or anything in as far as that goes. I just want to understand what's happened so I can make as few mistakes as I volunteer for.
Don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do for good or bad that will change any of that.
It's a fair bit of radical acceptance you got going for you there, ma'am.
What now? She's obviously not up on psychological. By the way, she's like mid-30s. Her main identifying feature is she has extremely long hair, like down past her butt, kind of like long dark hair, and she's small, but not in the same way that March Lyon's kids are. She's got more of a fragile look, not that wiry, lean, quick. She's looks a little
Does
waify.
she wear her hair down?
Yeah, she usually wears it down. She'll sometimes tie it back if she's doing work where she's leaning forward a lot, but like right now it's just down.
Yeah. Things are what they are. And there's nothing that anybody anywhere can be done.
Yeah.
Isn't that sort of the point of this supposedly legendary pack that I'm finding myself a part of?
So, you really believe you're the ones, huh?
What's the prophecy say? I haven't actually heard it in its entirety. I've just sort of been thrown at it and said, you're chosen.
Well, you wouldn't understand it anyway.
No? Why's that?
Because it's not in English. She says with just utter contempt.
Well, I'm a fairly dab hand at the old tongue.
Not this old tongue, you're not.
Out of game question. As I understand, Geru speak is something that pretty much everybody. Okay.
Yep. And the Fianna, in fact, invented it. So.
Right. Yeah. He'll kind of look at her a bit.
Clearly not talking about the
right.
group.
Yeah. What manner of lingo does it find itself in then?
Not a language that you would know. Anyway, it's over here, the area that we're going to use.
And he shifts with that just fine.
Yep, she's clearly not interested in talking about the prophecy with him. Okay. But she is talking to him. That's right. What successes gets you with this woman. All right. So back to the...
It's more successes than I would have gotten.
Yeah. Back to the children's cabin with Grudek.
Sure.
So I do apparently have to change my headset battery. So that'll be 20 seconds here. Just a second.
Exciting content.
As Thistle, mentally, not even knowing why, wants to throw a whole bunch of manga at Silverglare.
Wait, it's Silverglare.
Or did I mess that up? The one Tag was talking to.
I'm talking to Morning Cloud.
Morning Cloud.
If I was talking to Silverglare, this would be taking a far different tag. But that's fair.
Never mind. I don't. Look, there's a lot of names.
There are a lot of names.
Yeah, I've got 1 dot in
so sorry
etiquette
about
and
that.
2 in manipulation.
All right, what did I miss? Anything?
Nope. Just commenting
Alright.
on the two successes that Ty got being almost impossible for me.
Yeah. That would not have been a good roll for you to try to make. All right. Children's crew deck.
Are the kids outside or are they inside? You okay?
They're inside eating,
Okay. Grudok will
or
go up
have
and
finished eating probably by now.
knock on the door and say, "Hey kids, it's Grudek."
Siobhan comes, opens the door. Hey, Papa Grudek.
Hey Siobhan, how is dinner?
Oh, so good.
Oh, it's good. I brought chocolates.
Chocolate? Are you serious?
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding again. It's chocolate.
Don't joke about chocolate.
Grudek winks and pulls out the chocolate, and he says, "How's our new friend doing?"
She still won't talk to me.
Grudek shrugs and says, "She don't talk to me either. That's okay. Like we talked about, some people they don't like to talk so much, but I bet she listens really good."
Yeah, she's mostly been looking at those books Thistle gave her.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And he'll sort of poke his way. I mean, she's standing in the doorway, or will she?
Yeah, she was standing there in the doorway. Then,
Okay.
she'll let him in if he seems to be pushing his way in.
Sure.
Bridge runner follows behind him.
And he says, "Guess what? The bridge runner's back. Hey, how are you?" And where is she sitting?
She's sitting almost in the dead center of the cabin on the floor, and she's got some papers next to her where she was drawing, and then but she's looking at a like a graphic novel type thing now.
Okay. I'm gonna try. Can Grudek position himself so that he can see both her and Bridge Runner?
Yeah, if he just goes to the far side of her as he's coming in and like circles around so that.
Okay. All right, and he'll come in and say, "I guess what, kids? Okay, so here's dessert. You all have to share." And then put it down on the table and open up the box.
And Emma doesn't even reach for it. The other kids grab some, and Emma doesn't even go for it.
I think he'll probably grab a big handful,
Okay.
and sort of walk over and sit on the far side of her. And is she reading the books?
Yeah.
He'll hunker down beside her and sort of place them down one piece by one piece, sort of on the towards the upper edge of the page that she's reading. Is she sitting on the floor reading?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, then he'll do it sort of on the floor right off the edge of the book. Or if the floor if the floor is gross on the book itself. He's not going to put them on a dirty floor.
Yeah. He'd probably have to put them on the book because, cabin in the woods.
Yeah, fair enough.
Full of kids who track mud in.
Yeah.
So she actually physically startles when he puts the chocolates down on the page. But then as soon as she looks up, and her expression in the instant that she looks up is heartbreaking because she has the look of, oh God, what did I do? Who's going to hurt me now? But then as soon as she sees that it's Grudek, her whole face changes. And you couldn't really say it lights up because she's a very sort of wan, sickly looking, sallow little creature,
Sure.
but it at least calms.
Sure. She says, "Hey, I brought some candies. I wanted to check if you changed your mind and want to wear the hat yet." Okay,
But she
that's
starts
okay.
stuffing the candy in her mouth. With
And I
no
brought-
no hesitation. She obviously trusts whatever he gives her, so she just starts eating candy.
and
No
I brought-
no particular sign of enjoying it, but she's just like stuffing it in like she's a wood chipper.
I said, I brought something else good. Brought another new friend, good friend of Grudek's. Kind of like extra dad for the other kids here. Right, Siobhan?
Yeah, Grudek's the best.
No, but also Bridge Runner. He's like
Oh.
he's even
He's all right.
Grudek's like will sort of mug at her over Emma's head. And then we'll sort of point towards Bridge Runner and try to get Emma's attention and say, "This is Bridge Runner."
And Oshin speaks up for once, the little red-headed kid, and he says, "I like Bridgewater."
Yeah, see? Bridgewater is great. And Grudak can't help himself and looks at Bridgewater and says, "See, that's a vote of confidence for you."
Bridgewater just shakes his head.
How is he
Siobhan
acting?
just doesn't like it that I'm the one who says no to her all the time. It's the problem. She wants to run this place, and I have to remind her that she's 8 years old, and she's not a fan of that. Emma looks vaguely interested when he says 8 years old, and she shoots a glance at Siobhan, but then doesn't say anything.
Is she looking at Bridge Runner at all? Okay.
She's looking at Grudek mostly.
Okay. Is it that sort of avoidance that she's exhibited in the past, or is she just not paying attention? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's just like, if I don't see him, he's not there.
Okay. What is Bridge Runner doing? How is he reacting to seeing her?
He's just kind of standing there, like he's making no effort to he's not kneeling down to get closer to her level. He's not doing any of the good with kids kind of stuff. Kind of makes you wonder how he got his job, but anyway.
Jurek has, I think, passed out the 3 or 4 candies he brought with him. He said, "Bridge Runner, could you bring a couple more of the chocolates over? Come on, I want you to meet Emma."
All right. He sits down at just enough of a distance from her that it's clear he is wary.
Okay. Bridge Runner, this is Emma. Emma, this is Bridge Runner.
Hi, Emma. I'm Bridge Runner. I'm the den father here, so I'm kind of in charge of the cubs, the kids. So you're new here, huh? She just looks at him and then just scoots closer to Grudek.
Grudek looks at Bridge Runner, and he's going to be studying him as he says this, but he says, "She doesn't really talk much. Every once in a while, a little bit, but you can imagine why, I'm sure. But again, she's here now. She's in a better place with better people." And Bridge Runner, trust me, I'm not trying to impose upon you. I know this is all unexpected for all of us, but we need to help her see that we, our sort of people, can be good people, and maybe for her, maybe help her see that there are good people.
Bridge Runner sighs and he seems to think for a minute. And he sits down. Well, he's already sitting down, but he scoots in a little bit more. And he says, "Look, Emma, so long as you're here, my job is to protect you and make sure you get food, make sure it doesn't rain on your head." And she actually, one corner of her mouth twitches a little bit when he says the thing about raining on your head. And to make sure that that nobody hurts you at all, even a little. All right? Now, you may not always like the food I bring you. You may not always like what I ask you to do, but I ain't going to let anybody hurt you at all. Even if we don't get along, I'm not always as nice as Papa Grudek here. I got a bit of a temper, but I've never hurt you or any child. So just understand that not only that, I ain't gonna let anybody hurt you. So you tell me, or Papa Grudek, or anybody, if anybody makes you feel scared, and one of us will make sure that you get taken care of. Now, I don't know if you're planning on staying here long or if you're just a guest here right now. Either way, my job is the same. Take care of you. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to like me. You don't have to agree with me. But this is my job. And so long as you're here, nobody's going to hurt you, all right? And you just let us know if there's anything you need. Siobhan, Oshin, it's getting on close to bedtime, so Grudek, do you want to help get Emma settled in? Because I don't like for them to stay up much past 9. Otherwise, we can't get him out of bed in the morning. So
That's of course, that's no problem.
all right. Until she gets a little more used to me, you can put him to bed.
Of course. Emma, what's your favorite song?
She just shrugs.
Okay. Can I sing you one of mine?
She kind of looks at him like dubiously and shrugs again.
Grudek will sort of sit back and then break into some loud Nickelback. No,
Look at this photograph. Pulls out a pocket of food.
And says, let's get you ready for bed. Do we have extra pajamas and things like that?
They've got like there's a trunk over near there's like a couple of bunk beds, and then near that there's a big trunk that's just full of like generic like pajamas and sleeping clothes and rolling around out in the woods clothes, and so
do you want to come pick out your pajamas for sleep? You can pick out any ones you like.
So she goes over to the trunk and picks out some that are way too big for her, but she seems happy with them. So.
Okay. And I'll say, okay, take you. You can get changed. And I'll grab. I hope we have like extra toothbrushes and things like that.
Yeah, all the various supplies. Yep.
And sort of walk her through the process if she needs help, but otherwise kind of. Maybe enlist Siobhan a little bit to help her get changed.
And she doesn't seem to have any concept of that you shouldn't take off your clothes in front of other people. Like you get the feeling she's used to living in close quarters or whatever, and she just starts changing her clothes like without any sense of like she won't look at the other kids, but she doesn't seem to mind changing her clothes in front of them. Just like
I mean, Grudek's not going to correct her on anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to make her feel awkward. But
she was clearly not raised under usual civilized circumstances.
Not to make
believe raised by wolves
in the woods with a cold.
Yeah.
So
Siobhan and Oshin aren't exactly civilized either. So they understand what the rules are supposed to be, maybe, but they don't care about them.
Sure. Not to make weird assumptions about Black Spiral dental hygiene, but I'm assuming she's probably not super great at brushing her teeth. So if she'll,
she clearly knows how to do it, but it's not something that it is obviously like a reflex for her. She's not like, oh, time to brush my teeth. But like when she's handed a toothbrush and toothpaste, she kind of knows like what she's supposed to do with it and is reasonably obedient.
What's the point in brushing your teeth when the worm's going to eat you in 3 months?
Right?
And then we'll, when we can get everybody down, Gurdik will ask the others what their favorite lullaby is. He sings a bunch. I mean, he knows some English ones, but he knows mostly Polish ones.
Siobhan mostly feels like she's way too old for that kind of thing, but Oshin like has very specific requests. He wants to hear, this song is his favorite. And Oshin's just like, yeah, whatever. Like she's too cool for lullabies, but she'll let him. Whatever.
Okay. All right. So he'll sing whatever the kids pick, and I'm assuming if they're anything like my kids that will not help at all. It'll just be a mark of transition from not wanting to go to bed to not wanting to be in bed.
Yeah.
And then we'll tell them, I think, just fairy tales and sort of drone on in a calm voice until they start to drop off.
Okay. And Emma is pretty tired, so once he starts telling stories, she zones out, and then, her eyes roll back and she He just falls asleep eventually.
Has Bridgerunner left, or is he sticking around?
Yeah, he left after his little
Okay.
speech and after he told Griddock to put them to bed. And meanwhile, Morning Cloud and Tyga probably finished their little latrine duty, and Morning Cloud hasn't said anything else of relevance. She has kept what conversation there was to just very basic small talk. I'm a Ragabash, you're a Ragabash. We have nothing else in common, so let's keep it simple kind of talk.
Okay. He's probably willing to let that be sort of the current level of interaction, and once they sort of get to that point where she's probably fairly clearly signaling, all right, done now, he'll just sort of nod, hand her back the bucket. I'll appreciate you. At least give me the time of day. And if you need anything else, just, well, I'm sure you know where to find me. Hannah and Estrella were kind enough to at least teach me the difference between just pulling up grass and actually doing weeding today. So, be interested to see what tomorrow brings.
I'm sure they were. And she wanders off to do her thing. What are Thistle and Sea and Shadow up to during this?
Thistle will prep movie night because he was not joking.
Of course not.
But we'll also sort of separate from the group a bit to wait for Griddock to be done. Given the time, Thistle's going to assume probably putting the kids to sleep or something.
So is there a plan to meet up with them somewhere in the city after? Like head back down to the city?
I mean, I have an iPad that's fully charged that definitely has Harry Potter locally.
Okay.
We can totally go to the city to watch Harry Potter if that is what people want, but...
I was assuming we were doing something in the Sept. Shadow has no idea.
I am assuming that, like, given... We sort of have access to one of the tents when we're resting, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the moon out yet?
Let's see. The kids are in bed before 9, so it is not yet. It's about to be moonrise, but not yet.
Yeah. If it's getting towards moonrise, but like the moon is not out yet, Thistle will probably while waiting around for Griddock, with the rest of the. I know Ty's off doing something, but spend a rage point to do the easy version of turning into a different form to get back into lupus form and make it look more effortless than it tends to be for Zur.
Okay. That's cute.
Yeah. Spending that rage to just pop into lupus next to Shadow.
I'll look down. Very good, Thistle. I am going to go hunting. Would you like to join me?
I'll come what? I'll come what? There's some hesitance to it, but like...
Shadow shifts into lupus form and just nudges Thistle under the jaw. And lopes towards the exit. Is there any way for us to get out of the cairn in lupus form, or do we have to go Krynos jump then lupus again?
There's not, but there are areas where you can hunt within what is considered the cairn grounds. There are areas that are walled off to anyone who doesn't come in over the boulder, but that are still, somewhat on the fringes of the actual cairn grounds, where you can find,
rabbits and things,
squirrels and birds.
So I'm going to understanding that Thistle is a Homid and probably hasn't spent much time hunting, I'm basically going to do what I did for all of my kids, which is hunt the first one, then make it extremely easy for Thistle to hunt the second one, but making it at the same time making it clear that Thistle is the one that hunted the second one, not me.
Is Thistle ready to sink her teeth into a squirrel?
Thistle will sort of. I want to come along, but I'm here to watch. I'm not here to hunt.
These are good skills for you to have, if ever you have been separated from the pack.
That's not what Thistle wants to hear.
It's okay. Thistle will bristle a little bit.
Bristle Thistle.
I was thinking it.
And Zeal sort of. It's not the issue. And just sort of, assuming we aren't far enough out that I'm gonna get lost, start heading back towards the.
Very well. And I will continue to hunt more. Because
Okay.
we're apparently having some sort of event, so I'm going to make sure there's food for everybody.
Yay, squirrel.
So, squirrel and hare and anything else that I can find.
Yeah, there's
gonna get enough-
some tasty birds
I'm
and
going to get enough that everyone can have one and that I can have 3.
I like how we are all the pack parent in various ways.
right? Except for Tig.
I was gonna say, has Tig
No,
done...
Tig is the fun parent that enables and is like, yes, I will. Wait, that analogy falls apart very fast. Yes, I will dress up to confuse your other parents.
Yeah.
C has sort of brought those rudimentary training dummies that he built a little while ago and just kind of brought them further into the forest. And there's a difference between like practicing and angrily practicing. He is very angry training right now, to the point that I think at one point he ends up spending an extra point of rage for extra attacks with his sword, because he's just kind of very furiously destroying these training dummies.
So while wandering back, would Thistle come across this, or?
Considering Shadow was taking you out to find places where like hunting was, where there was less people interaction, probably actually.
Yeah.
We
Like
maybe even passed by while we were hunting, or while I was hunting at least.
Yeah, and so it's very likely that you start walking by as C is very much just, there's this moment of frustration as he just kind of brushes his hair out of his face and then just straight across twice in sort of an X pattern across the chest of this dummy.
Thistle, keeping the lupus form, just sort of curl up to watch from a reasonable distance, giving C some space, but being supportive, which technically gives you bonuses if you're making rolls, but you're not making rolls. So flavor-wise, there to help.
Support flavor.
And after I've gathered a number of kills, probably the moonlight reflected eyes of the giant wolf appear somewhere on the outline of this training area.
And when the moon comes up, a little after 9, it is still waning gibbous. So it's because it's gibbous. Grudek gets all his rage back, and the rest of you get 2.
So, in addition to the moon-reflected eyes, there is also a sense of unease, as I now have maximum rage again, which exceeds my willpower by 1.
So now he's extra creepy.
Now it's not just Shadow; it's the big bad wolf.
Yes. That
So,
is
big beat.
literally.
sort of seeing Shadow and seeing the moon reflected eyes, this will give a little. I don't know how much it translates for the person who's not in lupus form, but a little like, well, when you're done, and head back towards camp.
And Tig, having finished his, in his mind, moderately successful first conversation with Morning Cloud, is going to, as quietly and quickly as lupusly possible, go looking for anybody who is not where they should be.
Are you broadcasting this at all?
No, not particularly. I mean, he's still present in the mind link. It's very apparent he's, in a sense, around. But unless anybody asks, he's sort of taking this upon himself.
Tig is doing the spy thing.
Oh yeah, hardcore.
I think Grudek would have said earlier, informing the others that he was staying with the kids until they were asleep and letting everybody know that Bridge Runner was leaving the cabin where the kids were, ostensibly to let Emma settle in without his disturbance, but just also letting everybody know that.
He'll keep an eye out for Bridge Runner then.
Yeah. Nobody seems to be in any unusual configurations. At some point shortly after the moon comes up, a few people arrive. You get the feeling there's sort of vague shifts for the people who have both city lives and sept lives, that there's kind of a schedule where people come and go. And a few people arrive shortly after moonrise. Bailey shows up, one of the keepers, and also the guru whose shoulders she is clinging to as he hops over. And he's just sort of a geeky looking white guy that you may or may not recognize as one of the guardians, but you've never really talked to him. He's not super sociable. And Cher.
Is that Four Eyes?
So, yeah, Four Eyes, yeah. And he has glasses in Hobbit form. They're clearly dedicated because from the thickness of them, they're not the types of things he would want to lose. And so the three of them hop over and join the sept at that point, and a few people actually leave who have city lives. You see the truth catcher, who you haven't spoken to much yet, I don't think, have you? Stillwater.
No, don't think I've spoken to Stillwater.
Yeah, she emerges from the cabin that Tea Tree uses, and then just immediately leaves. And another of the guardians that you haven't talked to that much, a blonde girl who goes by Golden Heart, leaves also. So it's just kind of like a changing of the guard sort of a situation.
Okay.
So out by where C is angry training, I'm going to spend a rage to change back to Hamid form, which puts me nice back and under control. And so I'll just step into the clearing. I can feel your rage from outside the training area.
C kind of pauses for a second and brushes his hair out of his face. Yes, Shadow?
What has you so angry?
A lot of things have me angry right now.
Speak them. Let them lose their power on the air.
There's almost a stubbornness to the Uktana here. they refuse to acknowledge that they're weak, that they can't do what they need to. There's another group of Uktana who might be falling to the worm right now. This is my history, my people who are diminishing, dying, falling, and I feel like I'm coming too late to do anything about it.
I can understand these frustrations. My ancestors have spoken to me similarly about some agitation in their past. Those of my kind, too stubborn and clinging to their old ways, to acknowledge strength when it is present. Which is why my fur is black. Shadow of Fenris, my ancestor. Kin to the Shadow Lords, but joined to the Get of Fenris. I think you could imagine the difficulties he faced.
And I've seen one of my ancestors, but only for a moment. And I don't know if he was trying to speak to me or just showing that I'm there, whether he's able to actually reach to me that well yet. It's question after question is compounding with no answers, and the frustration is building.
What did your ancestor appear to you as?
A individual of dark hair going gray, a crown of feathers and white paint across the body. He said nothing. He just appeared for a moment and then was gone.
He said nothing. But did he react? Was it clear he saw you?
He met my gaze, and then he was gone.
Then perhaps it is the knowing that was his request. Know your ancestor.
I would, but everyone here seems to not know their own history for me to learn.
And it would seem we have one place left to ask. Come. I will train with you, help you work out that aggression.
All right.
So is the general plan for you guys to, do a little training and then possibly watch some movies,
Yeah.
go to sleep, and then deal with
Yep.
other stuff in the morning?
Specifically, probably, like, there's only so much space on an iPad. So probably the first Harry Potter movie. Possibly a few episodes of Gauging the Room. Let's go for Star Trek.
So you're up
Which-
until
hang on.
about how late would you say?
Which series of Star Trek?
Oh, definitively Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless someone is actively keeping him awake, and this is not a knock on the
Yeah.
on the films or the TV shows, but I think prior to the first big scene jump in the first movie, Grudek is curled up in lupus form and has gone to sleep, just because he runs all the time, and when he's not actively doing things, he tends to go to sleep.
That's fair.
Also,
and Thistle
doubling
will
down on the whole
not
dad
do
thing.
nerdy commentary. Will very quietly and aside answer any questions that might be asked or raised, especially for the group Lupus. But but is letting people view and enjoy the thing uninterrupted.
Shadow watches whatever you present with the same intensity that he does everything else. Just staring, not saying anything, rarely blinking. Probably taking it way more seriously than he should be.
That's fine. That is total. There
When
is
do
no
I have to
such
face
thing as
these
too
men with
serious about
phasers?
fandom.
It's just
So how
like
late-
it's the anime big guy trope of like legs crossed, arms on knees, staring forward with half an eaten rabbit in his hand. Just
Grudek probably wakes up
Well,
whenever it gets
that-
loud and is like, "Why are children fighting a big fat man in the bathroom?"
The ogre scene or the
Yeah.
troll scene.
About how late do you guys stay up, would you say? If it was a little after 9 or 9:30 or so when you started.
Okay, I can estimate this fairly accurately. The stuff Thistle presents runs about. I don't know the length of the Harry Potter movie off the top of my head.
2.5, 3 hours, depending on if it's the extended cut or not.
Okay, so no, it's not the extended cut.
2.5
Again,
hours.
limited space on an iPad.
Yeah,
So
2.5.
it's about 3 hours, so not that bad. If people insist or egg, there is more content. But if it's just like Thistle going, this thing at people, that's as long as that would run.
I feel like Shadow and Thistle are probably the last two awake.
Okay. So you're probably all asleep by like 1 a.m. ish.
Probably
Yeah,
one or
at
two.
the latest.
And then do you sleep until you're like fully rested? You get up at 9 or 10 or
Grudek's probably up early because he went to sleep early.
and probably making breakfast for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, 3 hours. It'd be by 1. So yeah.
Grudek, since you're the first one up, roll a perception and alertness, difficulty 7.
Okay.
He's probably number 2 up a little bit after Grudek. Because he'd kind of exhausted himself with training, and so he would have gone to sleep pretty early too.
Actually, well,
Nothing.
Okay.
Tig would have gotten up because this is a Friday night, right?
Mhm.
Tig would have gotten up for about an hour in the very wee hours of the morning, to make a perfunctory, and I'm talking like 30-minute round about. I assume in lupus form he can run the circumference of the cairn in lupus form moderately quietly, probably for inside half an hour to an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. He would have gotten up to do that, but if nothing had happened then he would have gone back and slept the rest of the time. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing unusual. He probably would have seen Four Eyes and Cher and Colmio doing Guardian rounds as well. He might have crossed paths with them as they were doing basically the same thing, just walking the perimeter.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Shadow would be in lupus form after when he eventually went to sleep. And being in lupus form has that constantly half awake nature that wolves and dogs tend to have.
Yeah.
So easily stirred if needed and half aware constantly, but he's just going to basically lay down and rest and relax until everybody's ready to go do whatever it is we're going to be doing today.
Okay. And there's no unusual, during the interim before you guys are all up and at 'em, there's no unusual smells, sounds, anything at all during the night that would wake you up or cause you any unease. It's just people coming and going, the usual rhythm of the sept.
Once we're... Sorry, I
Go ahead.
interrupted.
Go ahead. No.
I was going to say, once we're all sort of up, Thistle will grab some breakfast and then probably separate from the group to do something. But Understanding I'm one of the last ones up.
Where does Thistle go?
Thistle's gonna go find Brushfire.
Good, because Brushfire is looking for Thistle. At around 10:45, unless anything happens before then. Brushfire actually goes actively looking for Thistle at 10:45.
Yeah, Thistle will grab some breakfast and probably around the same time, if not a little earlier, be like looking around to see if Z can find Brushfire.
Yeah, and Brushfire is in Hamid form. As soon as she spots her, just heads right over.
Yes, we'll wave. Hey.
She kind of looks around like, a little furtively. I think I have some good news.
Huh?
Yeah, my position might be opening up soon if you're interested in being Caller of the Wild, because I might get to be Keeper of the Land, because I just heard that Morning Cloud is going to train to be Right Master.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know what changed her mind. March Lion's been asking for since before I was here. And she always said, no. But now she said she's going to do it. So that means I might get to be Keeper, and then you might get to be Caller of the Wild, maybe.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm allowed, but that would be so...
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask
The spirits are
my
so
dad.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hope whatever you have... if I can help with spirit stuff, I really, really like doing that.
Yeah. So at the next moot, I'll show you. You just stick with me at the next moot, and I'll show you everything I do, and it's really easy. All you have to do, you just have to know their names, and you call them in a certain way so that they're present at the moot, and I'll show you just how to do it. And you can watch me, and so in case you have to do it later.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's so
Isn't it exciting?
You're helping me so much. And I feel bad. I really need help with lupus stuff. I don't. Shadow, our Arun tried to take me out, and it was so embarrassing. He was treating me like a cub because he knows I don't know what to do, and
well, it's okay. I mean, in a way, you are a wolf cub. You're a human adult, but you're new at being a wolf. So it's okay to be a cub. Everybody starts a cub. I used to be a cub too, but you just started the cub part later. It's okay.
Yeah, but I don't want... He's really intense, and I don't want him treating me like a cub. I definitely need this stuff explained, but...
Yeah. It's hard when it's your pack because you want to impress them. Yeah, my pack are all older than me, so I'm always trying to impress them. I understand, but yeah, I can teach you stuff. We can go hunting. Maybe tonight we can go out hunting together. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, Tig would have pretty heavily detailed his conversation with Morning Cloud as probably in the middle of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to everybody.
Tig, there's like a basilisk. No, wait, basilisk is...
That's the second movie.
I'm such a bad fan.
That's Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, I'm such a bad fan envy. So the broom scene is happening, and Tig is just like, oh, and here is this thing that is
smack.
While I was carrying a bucket of poop, this is what we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, tonight we can go hunting. I should go talk to my dad because I want to ask him for sure now. Does this mean should I be training
your dad? Yeah. And if he says no, that's obviously cool and fine, but thanks for considering me. It means a lot.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about it and let you know what he says. But there's definitely going to be some openings. I hope this doesn't mean Dad's planning on dying, but I mean, he's really old. So maybe that's why. Maybe he thinks maybe he's sick. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
She runs off in Hamid form, and
Yeah.
her Hamid gait is always just a little bit awkward. She looks like she wants to be loping, and she just can't quite make it work. with
Yeah.
legs.
A little bit more arm movement than you expect
Yeah.
from someone running in Hamid.
Did you guys see this off topic? But did you see that thing about the AI that trained itself to virtually run? That's what I'm picturing.
Yes. Oh God. No, please, no.
All right. So what are the rest of you up to?
Tag's looking for Cher.
Okay. You know, I completely forgot to do a break this time, guys.
It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Sometimes we do.
Yeah, Cher is coming off of her nightly, rounds. She looks a little tired, but basically in a good mood, her usual. She's with Four Eyes. And they're hanging out, having breakfast in the eating area.
Okay. Grudek, what's for breakfast?
There are, I mean, Michelle, I'm assuming we have fairly regular supplies brought in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not like tons of. It's not going to be like you don't have access to a gourmet kitchen or anything, but
No, but we have eggs and
basics.
milk and
yeah.
some perishables and things.
Yeah,
like that.
there is a refrigerator in Tea Tree's cabin, and so they store some stuff there, and it's available on request.
Okay. There's a little bit of a lot of different things. It's sort of just like the dinner was, where he knows that everybody in the sept has a lot of different tastes, so he tries to cook a little bit of a bunch of different things.
Assuming oatmeal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what Tag's gonna grab a bowl of.
If Tig has ever, even if nobody else in the sept likes oatmeal, if Tig has once expressed a fondness for oatmeal, there's a little pot of oatmeal.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's what he'll grab. And look around, and yeah, if Cher and Four Eyes are sitting somewhere, he'll grab a bowl, spoon, and do that sort of thing where a newcomer will walk out and look around just to try and sort of figure out what's what. He'll step out and kind of give the breakfast area the once over, and then make a beeline straight for Cher, sit down on the ground somewhere nearby, and then just sort of wave his spoon at her. Привет, сестра.
As Tig walks up, he hears Four Eyes in the middle of saying something about, and it's just the mixed signals that are driving me crazy. And then he stops as soon as Tig arrives. And when Tig attempts to speak Russian at Cher, she audibly chokes on what she's eating. And
But Four Eyes was speaking to her in English, right?
yes, yeah, just rattling off some frustrations or other in speedy English. Whether she understood him or not, you have no idea. But she was sitting and listening and eating, and then chokes when Tig attempts to speak Russian. And then she says, нет,
It's 2 words. It's what I've got right now.
And Four Eyes just cracks up. And he's like, yeah, don't murder her language. Really? Really? I made the same mistake, believe me. Like, I thought it would be polite and friendly, and she's a silver fang, what snobs they all are. And she elbows him. So she clearly understood that much.
Well,
has she been doing that thing? Has she been doing that thing to you? And she elbows him several more times.
It's part for the course, brother, Of course. Look, Ragabash is as Ragabash does. And for your information, and he leans forward and very quietly and conspiratorially drops his voice to not a stage whisper, an actual whisper. Is it trouble with the ladies that you're having then?
I don't want to talk about it.
The only
I'm
way-
more interested in if Cher has been doing this bullshit thing that she does to every single new person in the sept where she acts like she doesn't speak English.
You hear over
She
the
looks-
totem link. I knew it.
Cher gets this look of just injured innocence, like she has no idea what Flores is talking about.
And Ty gives Cher a little bit of a wink. What do you mean pretending? It's obvious that the girl is doing her very best to speak this language that a lot of other people do. It's kind of a lingua franca of the modern age, of course. But it's not everyone that can pick up on the English tongue as quickly as others. Really, I hear your name's Four Eyes, but you shouldn't put pressure on somebody who works with you closely just because they didn't come up by it naturally. Just totally playing it up as much as he possibly can. But who's this girl you've got in the offing? You've got to spill the beans here, lad.
Look, it's an ongoing thing. I don't want to get into it, and enough people are already talking about it that I just...
Well, it's just I don't want to be stepping on your objectives, and
It's
I
a
don't want to make
non-starter. It's
All right.
Anyway, she's into somebody else, so whatever.
Well, if you need somebody to
C walks by with a plate of food.
Anyway, and he jerks a thumb at Cher. Yeah, she was an English language and literature major at Tomsk, so she speaks English perfectly well.
You hear again over the totem. I brought her the good pastries.
Four Eyes, and she obviously gives up the game, and she's like, Four Eyes always insists on ruining my fun, but yes, I speak English very well, and it is very amusing to me to play this trick on new people, and I apologize, but as a Ragabash, I'm sure you understand the compulsion to do these things.
Thistle will over the link. Wait, it was supposed to be a trick? Like, wasn't it pretty obvious? Sorry, I didn't fall for it. Oops, bad form. Like, this is all like psychically relayed to the rest of the group, but also pretty visually on Thistle's face. Like, oh, they thought, oh, oops.
Shadow's eyes open. He leans over and eats the rest of whatever leftover hunt was from the night before, and then lays his head back down and closes his eyes.
Rabbit is like, actually no, he'll do that in character if it's coming, if the vibe is coming across the link at all. And I know what you're going through there, Shadow. No, I understand. Rabbit is like pizza. It's always better the second day.
Indeed. What? No, he would know.
Anyway, now that the cat is out of the bag, anyway, please allow me to officially congratulate you on becoming members of the Sept, and we are very happy to have you here. And my hope is that your pack will also become guardians, because there are only 5 of us now, and probably we could use more. But I understand also your pack has some great purpose, the prophecy, and all this sort of thing. But if you ever want to come down to Earth with us humble guardians, we would appreciate your help.
He kind of looks at her a little bit. Well, I'm sure that there's plenty of work to go around, and there are none of us that are too good for whatever it is that most needs doing.
Yes, I heard that you were not too good to empty the latrine pit last night. Spasiba. Thank you for that.
He'll grin
Normal.
and give her the I'm suddenly realizing has become the tag trademark grin and wink. And
Normally, I have to get in trouble first before they give me that duty, but congratulations, I guess.
here's the thing. I found that it's surprisingly effective. That if you put out the idea that you're perfectly fine with something, they're less likely to make it part of your consequences inevitably once I fuck up.
Oh, that is devious. Why did I not think of that?
Because you're too busy trying to teach people that they have to think you're stupid first.
It's true, it's true. I like this one for us.
But as other guardians, I'd have to ask, anything weird or odd crop up in the last few days?
You mean besides the black spirals that are apparently squatting in San Francisco? And
Right.
you know,
Besides that.
besides the prophesied saviors of the world showing up from all over the place to form a new pack here, besides that? Besides a black spiral kinfolk of 8 years of age showing up and moving into the sept, besides that? No, nothing
Well,
much.
I don't want to only hear about me and my pack's accomplishments, you know.
Well, if I heard any other interesting news, I would let you know.
C's just kind of like sitting very quietly eating his own food, just kind of seeing if anyone is paying a inordinate amount of attention to him or his packmates.
Estrella is, of course.
Of course.
She's supposed to be watering some plants nearby, but she's like making a large puddle in one spot as she, rubbernecks and watches all of the new.
Ain't no one give a fuck about Shadow. And he's too busy eating anyways.
Estrella actually does seem pretty interested in Shadow, but she seems to have picked up on his general disinterest in her, and also finding him intimidating enough that she's not going to push the issue like she does with Cientai. It's like, okay, none of these people are interested, but this one is uninterested and scary. So I think
Shadow has that extra layer.
Yeah.
C just kind of gives Estrella a nod and just continues back to eating.
So Bailey walks over to get some oatmeal. Another one of the keepers, only one Tig hasn't talked to of the three that always hang out together. And as soon as she shows up, it is clearly obvious that that's who Four Eyes was talking about, because he turns all sorts of colors and forgets what to do with his hands. And she just goes and gets some oatmeal and goes and sits with Sky Teeth and hangs out and chats with him while she eats. And Four Eyes gives them puppy eyes from across the eating area. Just a little drama among the youngins, nothing.
And yeah, no, as soon as that happens, Tig immediately just very subtly, but is watching them closely to try and get the read on where this triangle actually lies.
Okay.
In terms of, all right.
Do perception and empathy difficulty 6 on this, because it's just your basic.
That wouldn't. I assume that would not be a extra 3 dice pure breed sort of social
because
thing.
You're not
right.
giving anything off.
Okay.
You're just taking in.
Right. Okay. And you said difficulty 6 on that?
Yep.
All right. Perception. Empathy. Four successes.
Okay. So yeah, Four Eyes, totally into Bailey. Bailey totally into Sky Teeth. Sky Teeth doesn't. He likes her, but he's not into her.
Doesn't pick up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just he thinks she's cool and they're pals, but she's into him. Four Eyes is into her, and everyone's miserable except for Sky Teeth, who
It's less of a
clueless.
triangle and more of a line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we just need to set up Sky Teeth and to fall in love with Four Eyes, and then it'll actually be a goddamn triangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very awkward.
That
Very
would-
awkward triangle
be-
in that case. Less so because they're both male, and more so because they're both Garou. Yeah, because Sky Teeth and they're both Garou, and Bailey's obviously.
And-
Kindle.
Right. And
She's Bailey is the truth catcher's daughter, the one that you don't see as much. Stillwater,
Ooh.
that's her daughter.
Mhm. That's not going to necessarily be Tig's priority at this point in terms of interpersonals.
So okay, everybody do a perception and alertness. Who's kind of hanging around general sept buzz of everybody eating breakfast and
Two.
okay.
Let me make sure I'm in the correct form. Because I have mine.
Don't have any alertness.
I have -2 to perception difficulty while I'm in beast form.
Difficulty, what did you say?
What did I say?
I thought you said 6 again, just kind of
Yeah.
standard, right?
I just missed it, sorry.
Yeah, and then my short-term memory did its thing.
One success.
What was it? Perception what?
Alertness.
Alertness.
Mhm.
I also have one success.
5 successes.
Okay.
And if it's keen smell, that's 6. If my nose applies, then it's 6 successes.
Where are you exactly, Shadow?
I'm assuming our camp, like the place where we set up camp, isn't too far away from where people eat because Grudak
Yeah, the
makes
eating
food.
area is close to the sleeping area.
Yeah, so I'm there, just sort of idly keeping an eye on everything that I can see and smell.
Are you actually in the eating area itself, or are you closer to the tents?
Probably like right next to it. Not actually in the eating area, but
Between
next
the
to it.
eating and the sleeping areas?
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. So you hear inside a tent, actually, in the sleeping area, you hear actually it sounds like actually Colmillo and Alma, two of March Lion's two Garou kids that are siblings, one of the guardians and the tail singer. You hear them talking, and you just hear Alma say, I don't know what was in that letter, but she went white as a sheet, and she hasn't said anything since. And that's all you
Perk up.
Yeah, that's it. And then after that, you don't hear anything else because they're actually inside a tent, and it was only by virtue of your astounding ears that you even caught that much.
I'm going to slink over by the tent, see if I can hear anything else.
On your way over there, Colmio is actually exiting the tent and nearly trips over you. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, man."
I just look up, snort, and keep walking.
He just kind of gives you a little nod and goes back to the eating area. And Alma comes out a little later, just like right after him.
Yeah, over the mental link. Then I will. It's whose kids were they again?
March Lion's kids.
Oh, yeah.
Colmio, Alma, or
Colmio and
some
Yeah.
his only Garou kids.
It seems.
Besides Brushfire, sorry.
Yeah. It seems that someone received a letter of some importance. Komia and Alma were talking of it. Apparently, this message made someone go pale with fear.
Did they use any pronouns to describe this person?
She. They said she
Yeah.
went.
She.
Well, that is less helpful than some pronouns might be, but I guess I'm the only trans person here who doesn't. I'm the only trans person who's out here, aren't I?
I would assume it is someone related to or that works with March Lion of the Inner Circle.
So I don't want to make any assumptions, but apparently rumor mill says, so take that as much as gospel as you choose to take rumor mills, that Morning Cloud was potentially finally acquiescing to train as the next spiritual leader for March Lion, and other things were moving because of that. Apparently that's a particularly unusual choice she made very recently.
How recently is very recently.
Since last night, so I don't know if it's your conversation or she is the she mentioned with a letter, or
I'm going to. I know I've never spoken with Morning Cloud, and likely never will. At least not in friendly conversation. But do I know where Morning Cloud stays? Like what tent or house?
She has a tent to herself. She's one of the few people who actually has like her own tent,
Right.
and everyone knows where the keeper of the land's tent is, and they don't mess with her.
I'm just going to stealth around and see if I can hear anything coming from her tent.
like
You're muted, Michelle.
You get muted or your headset died.
I was muted because
Okay.
I started coughing and then I didn't unmute. You do actually, and you don't even need to roll for it. If you go up next to where you know her tent is, you hear the sound of muffled but unmistakable sobbing. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.